What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Team Solemn Circus live video. It's on the left side here. We're Purrely going up against Voiceless Voice on the right. Before we dive in, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Helps the channel a lot. We're on the road to 10K here, trying to hit that before the end of the year. And it looks like we're going to be seeing Purrely going to be choosing to go first. We're going to be seeing them start off with a street and then also being activate my friend Purrely, paying 500, which is going to be able to reveal 3 from their deck. You know, they are lost a lot of them here. We've had only 2 Sleepies now, and we only have 1 Delicious. So we are losing essentially 3 cards from our deck. They're revealing a Happy and 2 Sleepies. Then we're going to be choosing randomly. And we are going to be seeing them being shuffled back into the deck. You know, Sleepy being a good card. But we also have Street on the field, so we really only need 1 Sleepy here for the Black Cat. And then we're going to be pitching the copy of the Black Cat itself, Lili, and be able to summon itself out. So we did get to see that Sleepy. We're going to summon out a copy of Pure Lili here. And they cannot target any special summon out Purrely monsters. So we are protected from Veiler, Imperm, as well as Mourner. And we get to search here. We're searching for the regular Purrely. And we're going to normal summon it out. We're going to hit with a copy of Imperm. You know, this is going to be a normal summon one, so we can do that. Then we're going to see a copy of E-Purrely, or E-Purrely Noir going to be activated there. And then we are going to be banishing 3 or banishing 6 off Prosperity, needing to hit that extra copy of a Purrely spell. And we are going to be seeing them hit a copy of Delicious. This will be able to chain to the E-Purrely here. So we're going to be activating the effect, chaining to the E-Purrely here. And then we are going to be also searching for that trap and not discarding off of it. And then during the end phase, we're going to be seeing the Street going to be attaching the Sleepy to it. So now we get a draw 2 plus a trap, so letting us additionally draw 4 cards. And having a spin, or I guess having multiple spins, being unaffected there. So we're going to be able to draw 2, and then we're going to activate the effect. Going into the Noir, drawing 2 more additional cards here. And then if our Purrely monster does crash, we can then add back a bunch of cards. We are going to see the Voiceless player think here. We're going to activate a copy of Saphira. That's going to let us search our deck. And we do have the copy of Veiler here in their hand. So we'll be able to perhaps respond to a Low or a copy of Diviner. So we're going to dump the Prayers. Then we can banish to also Ritual Summon. You know, taking a second to read the Voiceless cards. I myself still have to read them. You know, there are a lot of text, and we don't have that many players. We have like 2 players locally with Voiceless. I guess there are 2 other Voiceless decks also floating around, but they don't come as often, or the people are playing other decks as well. Like, I don't think this is the branded variant as well of Voiceless, so some people said like this is the new Sword Soul for anyone who has never played it versus Sword Soul, which is kind of amazing to me. Like, yeah, it's just like a new version of Sword Soul without actually having to synchro summon. You know, you have your negate as in Baron with the Skull Guardian, and then you have like other cards as well. So we're going to be putting it to the bottom of the deck, the Saphira with that copy of the Noir. Then we're going to activate Prosperity here. And we are going to be banishing what looks like to be 6. Which, how do you guys feel? We saw both players banishing 6. Do you believe that you always should banish 6? Or do you believe that you should banish 3 unless you need extra cards? Let me know in the comment section down below what you guys think of that. You know, it's always one of those thought processes that people are doing. We see 2 Barrier, 2 Pre-Prep, as well as a Prosperity off this, alongside 1 Veiler. So really just between the Prep as well as the Barrier there. So we're going to be adding the Pre-Prep to the deck, or to our hand I should say. And then we can activate it to be able to search twice. And we're going to add the copy of what's it called? To the hand, the Ceravis. So being have an Imperm dodge or a Veiler dodge in this case, which we do have in the hand, so he's most likely will see come up. And we are thinking here. We're going to activate the low, or we're going to activate the ritual card here to be able to use a low to summon out the copy of Skull Guardian, which does have its negate because of the fact that low is in the graveyard, as well as, you know, it being either on field or in grave for the attack boost as well. Very important. And we are going to attempt to Valor the Skull Guardian here. They're going to chain Circus to it. And do we attempt to... They're just going to ask, it still has a negate, right? Do we attempt to Noir? We are going to attempt to Noir here, detaching 2. To shuffle a low back into the deck. And they're going to read My Friend. You know, it is a very crazy card, having My Friend and Street on the field. Letting us add back numerous cards from the graveyard and summon one out is just disgusting, to be honest. But we have not normal, so could we see a potential normal summon of a low as well? We are thinking here. I'm not too sure why they were in their deck. I don't know all of these cards the best. I know the Purrely cards, but... Maybe it wasn't a low in the graveyard after all. It was this copy of Saphira. So we're going to be searching for the copy of the Circus, the main deck monster, which can like return to summon itself out inherently. So we have the Diviner here, and the Diviner will be able to activate its effects, dumping the Treyarchia from the graveyard here. Then we get to summon, or we get to shuffle back 2 to summon out the copy of the Circus, which is an inherit summon, does not activate. Very weird when those cards do that kind of shenanigans. Then we're going to be tributing off the copy of Herald there for the Treyarchia. And then we get to activate the effect there, summoning out a copy of the Low. Then Low can activate her effects there to be able to place. So we are picking through this board quite nicely here. I guess picking through is in summoning our own stuff throughout a Noir and a +4. You know, they will be able to add 3 back from the graveyard when this does happen, but there only is 2, so chances are we're going to only add back Delicious as well as the copy of the Sleepy. They're placing the Barrier onto the field, and then Barrier can actually get us another search as well here. Going for a copy of Circus once again, so having another Imperm dodge for the next turn if needed, which is always just nice. Also, if you ritual summon it out, it's like a summon negation, which is pretty cool. We just see them ask once again with the Purrely field spell as well as the Friends do. And we're just thinking here, so we could link up perhaps. I don't think there's a tuner, so we do see a Link Karibo in the extra deck for low. Maybe trying to go for like an SP, but they can't target the Noir, so they probably have to target the field spell. I don't think anything really locked them here. So they're going to go for a link or to synchro here, going into a copy of Chaos Angel. Chaos Angel can activate its effect, banishing the My Friend Purrely here. And then we can go for a copy of... We're going to see maybe a Muckraker? No, we're going to go for an SP. I was going to say, could Muckraker bring back out that copy, discarding? And then we're going to be seeing SP going to be banishing that copy of Street. So we're going to be essentially getting rid of both those cards here. We're going to go Battle Phase, attack into the Enoir, and then attack into the Purrely, dealing some damage. And we have successfully picked apart this board, including the field spell alongside the My Friend. We can then link away for a copy of Dynamundo here, chances are, and then that's going to be able to do some stuff during our opponent's turn as well. You know, this card's always being a weird card for me. I've saw a lot of players play it in Drytron. It just feels so weak when we have copies of Bell and like Droll, or DD Crow in the deck, I should say. So we're going to attribute it away, summoning with the copy of Skull Guardian, and it's like, why would you want to get rid of both cards? Like, why would you want to get rid of two cards for one card? You just bring back one of the same monsters that you just tribute summoned into. So we're going to see them attempt to go Skull Guardian and get impermed. They do have the protection of the Ceravis, which is going to be bringing back out the Low. Then Low can summon out or place a trap. So I guess if you really want the Low and trap on the field and have a negate as well, you know, it is viable. But you're losing an SP for this, which I think SP is very valuable in the Purrely matchup. Going to be able to get rid of your Purrely cards and then not letting them let them overlay, essentially. You know, having a negate alongside an SP is probably going to be just a winnable matchup for you. But we also see Rivalry in the hands of the Purrely player there. So definitely playing a lot of maybe it's more going first cards. We're going to activate a Pretty, which can let them both gain 1,000 life points here. We do see a Prosperity as well. So maybe going to be discarding the copy of discarding a copy of Prosp, summon out a copy of Noir. Noir can then search for My Friend, unless it gets hit with the hit with Skull Guardian here. So they're going to be negating that, and then they will be able to go up into it's destroyed as well. Okay, yeah, they got nothing for this. I didn't know Skull Guardian also destroyed. That's quite powerful. Yeah, so they're actually left with essentially the Rivalry in their hands. And we see Voiceless Voice able to take apart that board alongside a +4. You know, with those Ceravis cards in the hand, being able to dodge Imperm and stuff like that is just quite powerful for us. But seeing game one go that way, I wonder if Purrely's going to choose to go first once again. You know, if it's so easy for them to break apart their board, or if they're going to choose to go second and play through a copy of like Skull Guardians is 1-8, right? You Dark Ruler, you Imperm, and they have, you know, obviously unless they have their Ceravises, there's not much they can do, which is why some players are also playing the branded package, you know, being able to summon out like a Jogan, or even Sanctifier, bringing back multiple monsters, you know, protecting you from evenly matched, being able to play cards like Super Poly or Nadir Servant. Lots of good cards you can play in the deck. But like it just needs like a secondary engine, or you can just play heavy hand traps. We are seeing a lot of other players do as well. So like it really just is like Sword Soul was, but then the Tennies found their home in that, and then it's kind of just came from that way. But we're going to be diving on to game 2 here, and we are going to be seeing Purrely going first. Once again, activating a Pot of Prosperity as your first action here. Banishing 6 once again. And then we are going to be seeing cards hit with Glare. We see a Rivalry, a Sleepy, a Lili, and it looks like 2 other spells. And a Cosmic, okay. So we're going to add the Sleepy here. And then we're going to see the Street going to be activated once again. We're going to go for the Sleepy, discarding a copy of Prosperity. That's most likely going to be summoning out another copy of Purrely here. Purrely will be able to search for a copy of My Friend, and then also be able to summon back, or place back the... we're going to pay for My Friend here, paying 5, revealing a copy of... maybe Triple Happy? Or it looks like they're trying to go for the... Delicious. Yeah, I only got to see Delicious there. You don't really need to go for the Sleepy because you do have the attach with this end phase with the Street. So we're going to see Lili going to be able to go up into the Baby Noir. And then we're going to be able to activate the effect of Happy. So having that one of hit once again. And then we're going to go Happy is going to be able to chain, or we're going to be, Baby Noir is going to chain to the Happy, being able to then suck and then get the trap. We're not going to choose to discard once again here, so not valuing that, purely going to be able to search. And then we are going to be attaching the Sleepy once again with the Street at the end of the turn, so trying to get that +4 once again here. We're going to pass turn on this, and now we have 2 sets this time, so we are going to be seeing during the draw phase, we are going to choose to attempt to go into that. They do have the imperm for this, but we have our copy of the rank up, so we are going to be getting only 1 draw here. We're going to get 3 draws, so we are losing out on 1 draw, but we are going to be cosmicking the field spell here, and then we get to draw, and we have another imperm as well. Wow. But it is unaffected, so they're just not going to be able to activate that, which is fine. And then this is going to activate the pre-prep, and I think they just ashed it, and that was just it for them. So they're going to scoop it up going on into Game 3. That was a quick Game 2. When you are playing against Purrely and you're playing a little bit of a slower deck like Voiceless, unless you get your whole engine on the going, like, Skull Guardian ends up getting to 441, I think, which is absolutely insane. It does take time if you don't get that up to 41 to beat over those boards, and of course Purrely can just summon out monsters and slowly pick through or just wall up as well with, being able to summon from the deck. Definitely if you're going to be in a losing position, you just scoop it up because it's going to be too much. And then when they draw 3 cards there, it's going to be just a lot. And we knew pre-prep, they got ashed. So they're down I want to say they're down 4 cards, air quotes, because we knew one of the cards was impermanent was doing nothing. So they were left with 2 cards left in hand, and if they're not going to be able to do anything through that, as long as they're going to have still multiple shuffles, it's not going to be a good time for them. But I suppose it was only 1 shuffle because they had imperm. But the moment they commit, they can't imperm anymore. So it's you're going to have multiple shuffles. It's just an overall hard matchup for Voiceless with that kind of hand. I believe the Purrely player at this point was playing 17 hand traps. I could be mistaken. I guess shout out Alex for letting me know. I know he was not playing Bell at this point. This was something we talked about. I think he is playing Lava Golem instead. This was for a 3v3 a couple weeks back. Just wanted to spread out the uploads. I don't want to always upload a constant Fire King or Snake Eye uploads. We have lots of other decks going around locals, but unfortunately, you don't always get your Purrely and Voicelesses in the zone. Sometimes Alex is not there, and he doesn't always want to play Purrely. Same thing with Ethan here on the Voiceless. Doesn't come all the time, and when he does, you do get a couple matches. But unfortunately, at a bigger locals, you do have some players that are just either they're not always the best matchup, or there's bricks, and nobody really wants to see that. There are times where I just want to be able to feature a deck for some reason, like we saw the other day with Flandries, absolutely just shitting on Salad with their copy of Shifter. But that's just an expression of Shifter, and if they have good plays. But a lot of the times, Purrely is just an auto win against a bunch of other decks, and it's really hard for them to be able to play through it. But it looks like we're going to be making the Purrely player here go second. We're going to be starting off with a copy of Saphira. So dive on into Game 3. Voice will be able to choose to go first. Very, very good, setting up a negate. And then search for a copy of the Seravis, and by dumping that copy of Prayer. And now we think, essentially getting a +2 from the deck is kind of nutty. I remember when we saw Patchwork, and we were like, this card's crazy. This card only came out 3 years ago. Viper would have been one of the best decks, but we just didn't. We're going to be seeing a Diviner being normal summoned, but I was trying to say, it almost seems like every card now is a +2. I wonder what the single-handed card with the most advantage in Yu-Gi-Oh! We have. I'd like to see what that card is. So we're going to be seeing Diviner being summoned here, and we are going to attempt to maybe hit it with an Imperm. They are talking to their teammates because they know they have the Cerberus there, so is it even worth sending? So it's going to go through, dumping the copy of the Treyarchia here. So it looks like the middle match was done, so now we are going to be able to have a little bit more talking. So sometimes the players are going to be going a little bit slower here, and I wanted to talk to your teammate about it. But we have multiple lines. We have the Saphira in the graveyard, the Treyarchia in the graveyard, as well as the Prayer. Having 3 graveyard effects for those 3 cards in the graveyard is pretty nice. So we're going to activate the effect of the Saphira, banishing it alongside the load. Summon out a copy of Skull Guardian here, and then we're going to be able to activate the effect. And we know we sell the Cerberus in the hand, so the Imperm is not going to do very much here. Unless there's a role we want to like Imperm, so they waste their Cerberus before they end up getting a negate on the field, which I could potentially see being a play if we are worried about that negate. But they may not be. Like, I don't know exactly what they're handling. I did see a Cosmic, so we could not be a little bit not really caring about very much. Then we're going to be searching for another copy of Saphira there and summoning a Low from the deck. Then Low can activate its effects, placing the barrier. And also we're going to be able to search for the Trap card here. So we now have the negate live. We're going to be setting an additional card and passing turn on this. So we know that is a trap. We know we have a negate, a Imperm dodge, and the protection here from targeting. Yeah, targeting protection is kind of crazy. We're going to see a Lili being normal summoned here. Then we're going to activate its effects. That's going to go through. We're going to search for My Friend Purrely. So the interesting thing about this is that they're only going to negate something that threatens their board. So we're going to see a My Friend. We're going to pay 5. We're going to flip up the Trap. They're going to chain Cosmic to this, paying 1,000. So now they're going to be paying 15 total here. And we're choosing, do we want to negate this or not? And they're going to target the barrier. And then they're like, do I want to negate this? We can't chain Imperm here. Do we have another Cosmic? I'm not even sure what the other possibility can be. They're just asking what the trap does here. We see Prosperity, Imperm. There's 2 other monster cards in hand. So we're going to be seeing that being negated with the Low. We now have played through the pop here as well as that negate. So we're going to be banishing off the Prosp. Once again, going for 6, must be nice drawing or having Prosp in all 3 games. But maybe we'll see a copy of Talents being drawn here, which can maybe take their copy of Skull Guardian and you can link up. And that would be quite useful as well, not targeting anything, right? So we're going to be seeing a Santa Claus here. And a pure Lili, and the choosing not to choose those. So we're going to have the options of a Purrely spell. Maybe Purrely spell, dump another card, maybe the Imperm, and then summon out a copy of Purrely, and then Purrely hopefully hits, and if it does not, we still have that copy of Lili to be able to rank up. But they are thinking on it. delicious. They do it delicious once again here. Delicious, sleepy, pretty. So choosing the pretty here. Then we're going to go pretty discard. We're going to both gain 1,000. We're going to discard a copy of the Purrely. And that's going to be summoning out another copy of Purrely here. And we just pray that it hits. So will we see a hit here? We do see a hit. We see a happy memory there hitting, which is extremely good for them. And they're going to be able to go rank up with the Noir. And they just can't be targeted, and you have to attack into the happy. You have to attack into the Skull Guardian here. They're going to attempt to suck, so they're going to be sucking up that copy of the spell, so they can attack into whatever now. And we are going to go into the happy with the Noir there, or with the Purrely there, and they're going to go attack into the low. That's going to get hit with a copy of the Triarch, attributing to summon itself out. And then we are going to attempt to attack once again. And they still rave us that. I'm going to attack into the copy of Trey. And we should get a search off of the happy attack. So we're going to be searching here for a copy of the Delicious, and we are getting close to time here when we're seeing the Plump going to be bouncing back the trap there, also by attaching, we're going to be chaining. We're going to attack into it, and that is going to be time here, unfortunately. And I believe the Purrely player is lower in life. They're going to go double. They were going to go double Noir here, but it is unfortunate that I believe they are lower because they did pay 1,000 as well as pay 500 for that copy of my friend, and our opponent did gain 1,000. So we would have negated, essentially just paying 500 there, and then our opponent has gained 1,000, which is very unfortunate for us. But we will be seeing the Purrely player still trying to do really good, being able to beat over that copy of the full Voiceless voice board, which is pretty cool. But regardless, hope you guys are watching the video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe for some more content like this. Remember to stay safe. Peace.